Conversations that shape the Ummah. You are now listening to Special Interview.
Evening hours at IKIM FM. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good afternoon to our dear listeners of IKIM FM. Welcome to a brand new episode of Special Interview. I'm your host, Patricia Afrina. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much for listening to us from wherever you are. Either you are listening to this through radio or even through our social media pages, Facebook and also YouTube. So in this episode of Special Interview, we are going to look at the current issue that's going on at the Middle East, where it is currently witnessing one of the most dramatic geopolitical developments in the recent decades. So following escalating sanctions and military strikes, Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei was killed in a joint US-Israel operation targeting Iranian military and leadership facilities. So his death has created a major power vacuum inside Iran and triggered concerns about a wider instability across the Middle East. So to unpack more on the implications, I'm joined today by a geopolitics expert. I have here in the studio with me Dr. Abdul Ibrahim, who is the head of research at International Institute of Advanced Islamic Studies Malaysia, IAIS. I welcome to the studio Dr. Abdul. Assalamualaikum, Doctor.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. How are you, Doctor?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine.
Alhamdulillah. It is such a pleasure to have you in our studio, Doctor. MashaAllah, Doctor. Well, this is not your first time here being with us. Previously, I think about last year, right, Doctor? Around June or July, a few months ago, we had a conversation on this, particularly on that time when United States attacked Iran's nuclear power station. You still remember on that conversation and the consequences it had on the region. So, well, recently I would say the escalation has become a much more concerning with the recent updates with the assassination of the Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei. So we would like to know about the impact it has on the region. But before we go into the conversation, perhaps we have our listeners first time listening into this. Can you share with us on the historical background first? For listeners who may not be familiar, could you briefly explain how the hostility between the United States and Iran began?
Yeah. It's good to have a little bit of background onto the current situation, because it didn't just simply come about like that. So this is a long-standing issue between, actually, we know that Iran is one of the countries in the West Asian region which follows a foreign policy of total independence from all power blocs.
Okay.
So Iran is not, it has its own ideological foundation, and it sticks to that since the revolution in 1979. So as a result of this and its commitment to the principles of Islam, which is what it is founded upon, the nation. So when the Palestinian issue, because we cannot talk about Iran without talking about Palestine.
Yes.
Because had there been no Palestinian issue, I doubt there would have been any conflict between Iran and even the West. There won't be conflict anywhere. But unfortunately, because of the regime that is occupying Palestine now, that is the root cause of the whole problem. And if we look at the current war, or let's say the aggression that has been launched against Iran, it is at the behest of the Zionist regime, Israel. So it is very clear in this context that because of Palestine and because Iran is defending the people of Palestine.
Okay.
So this, and it is not just defending or supporting the Palestinian cause by mere rhetoric, but through, material means as well. So this is something which Israel can never accept.
But how about the 1979 Iranian Revolution, which overthrew the Western backed Shah and established the Islamic Republic under the Ruhollah Khomeini? Do you think that that revolution fundamentally changed Iran's relationship with the US?
Of course it did, because for that part of the story, we need to look at what Iran was prior to 1979. So prior to 1979, Iran was just like any other developing country in that part of the world, including some of the Arab countries, which were all under the influence of the United States,
Yes,
or other Western countries. So it was too much under the yoke of the US. So when the revolution actually wanted to free Iran from Western control, particularly the US.
yes.
So that's what I would say. So that is the cause of the revolution, to free the people of Iran and give them true independence, to stand on their own.
Okay. So briefly, Doctor, if you still remember on the last conversation that we had on the Iran's nuclear program, right? On the conflict itself, for years, we know that the tensions between Iran and United States have centered on whether Iran intends to develop nuclear weapons. So the recent strikes reportedly targeted Iranian nuclear and military facilities, and which can signal attempts to weaken Iran's strategic capabilities. So there are questions when I look on the internet. Some people ask why Iran did not use their nuclear power. So do you believe that this recent attack has anything to do again with the Iran's nuclear program?
This recent attack, the attack that is going on now, has nothing to do with the nuclear issue.
It's no longer related to that.
It's not related. Let me be. This attack on Iran was already planned very long ago. But of course, you must rationalize the attack. You must give a reason why you attack.
Yes.
So the reason that is given is because Iran is developing nuclear weapons. That is the reason.
Even though there's no evidence on
but
it.
that's not the actual reason. The actual reason is because Iran is the stumbling block to the grand vision of Greater Israel pursued by the Zionist entity. So it wants to expand to, already it is very clear. I mean, the extremists in the Israeli government, Smotrich, Ben-Gvir, all these people, they've already shown, even they've proposed their plan of the Greater Israel project. And recently, if you had been following the Tucker Carlson's interview with Mike Huckabee, Huckabee said, if Israel wanted to take that part of the Middle East, why not? Just take everything. So this expansion of the Israeli borders now to include many parts of the other Arab countries, including Jordan, parts of Saudi Arabia, parts of also Lebanon and Syria. This is all what is being planned. So Iran is the stumbling block to this, and that is the reason, not the nuclear issue.
I see. And again, I think one of the, I would say this operation itself, I think is very significant, as it involved on the assassination of the Iran supreme leader. Actually, not just him, but also his family and other top leaders in the Iran's administration. So reports indicate that he was killed during coordinated US-Israeli strikes targeting key Iranian leadership and military facilities. So from a geopolitical standpoint, how unprecedented is the assassination of a sitting supreme leader of Iran, and how do you think it's going to impact the tension of power in those regions?
No, the killing of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, he achieved martyrdom, but of course they have stirred the hornet's nest, actually. because it's different in the context of Iran. If you kill the supreme leader, the spiritual leader of the nation, it's not going to just rest like that.
Yeah.
That said, actually, even Ayatollah Khamenei, when he was just a few days before his martyrdom or killing, he had already mentioned about his death, and he had already made a clear statement that his death was not important. What was important was the nation. So the system in the Islamic Republic of Iran it doesn't just depend on one person. The system remains, the system will go on, and it cannot. It is just like what happened in Gaza. In Gaza, what didn't they do? They killed Ismail Haniyeh. They killed Yahya Sinwar.
Yes.
Has Hamas been vanquished? No. Nothing has happened. And in fact, Israel's aims of totally destroying Hamas was not achieved at all. What they achieved is the slaughter and genocide of the ordinary Palestinian people.
Of course. And this time, when I look upon it on the internet, there are some valuable information say that it is as if that he is already prepared for this mission, as if this is part of a bigger scheme. Because to think about it, how did the operation manage to reach such a heavily protected figure, not just killing him, but also other significant people in the leadership? It is as if that there's a bigger plan actually behind it. So do you believe in that?
Well, I will not go deeply into that, because things like this are not exposed clearly, and there are conflicting reports and news or whatever, whether on the internet or anywhere, saying that there were agents planted within the close circle of the leader, and they were working for Israel and things like that. Well, but anyway, the main thing is this kind of thing has happened before. I mean, targeted killings, where, of course, it requires intelligence. So I think maybe there were some loopholes in the Iranian intelligence network. So it could have, they could have breached and they could have found him. Or there could have been also internal or people inside and things who would have informed of the exact location, because this has happened not just for Ayatollah Khamenei, it has happened for Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran and also Hassan Nasrallah in Beirut. So these are things which are, which are part and parcel of the conflict situation. So I think those who are involved in this situation, or rather in a state of war with, or in a state of conflict with Israel, must be ready for such outcomes.
And as we are reaching the end of this conversation, Doctor, I may ask, I would say, quite a controversial question here, because I think this is one of the questions that many people ask when we talk about the assassination of the Iran Supreme Leader. If you look on the news out there, there are people who celebrated the death, while some sad with the death. So for Malaysian out there who are not directly involved in the conflict, how should we actually feel about the death of the Iran Supreme Leader?
Oh, we should be very, very concerned, because this is something big. I think in the Muslim world, let's be frank. Let's be very, very frank. I would like to ask all our audience, which country, Muslim country in the world, is standing up to Israel at this particular moment, and the US as well? Which particular country? None. The only country that is standing up against Israel is Iran. Is it wrong for us to give our support to Iran? Is it not the right thing to do to give our full support to Iran in this context. Remember that our third holiest mosque, Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, is still under occupation.
Yes.
And they are going to they have plans to take over that mosque, which belongs to the Muslims.
Yes.
Don't we feel any shame that we allow, how many years it's been under occupation?
Yeah.
And if there is a force, there is a country, a nation that is struggling or doing something to liberate Palestine, to liberate Masjid Al-Aqsa, should we not be with them? So our concern is a leader like Ayatollah Khamenei who stood steadfast. He could have just left the country when he knew that he was being targeted. It was already announced by Trump so many times that it's coming.
Yeah.
But he didn't leave. Although, according to reports, and they seem quite valid reports, that there were countries which offered him refuge. But he refused to go. He would stay in Iran and face whatever it is. He was not going to leave. He will lead this struggle to face Israel and American hegemony.
Yes, so we need to look at, I think the key important point here is that we need to look at the, I would say the focus that we should focus on to, or the, as here, I would say the goal that we're trying to achieve here, which is that we need to support a country that protect what's our, I would say, what should be our priority, which is here on the Palestine issue. Again, as you mentioned in the earlier of the conversation, that all of this tension comes from the issue of Palestine. So without having this issue, actually, it won't happen at the first place.
Exactly.
Well, this is a, I would say complex. It's still a complex because it involve it's like a web where everything is interrelated. Again, it goes back into the issue of Palestine, and we still actually have a lot more to discuss for this particular topic, but we unfortunately run out of the time for this week's episode. So inshallah we will continue for next week's episode. So with that being said, I would like to thank Dr. Abdul Ibrahim, who is the head of research at International Institute of Advanced Islamic Studies, IAIS Malaysia, for his insights on today's conversation, the US-Iran war. And to our listeners, thank you also for tuning to us today. If you have any questions or like to share your thoughts on today's conversation, you can leave it on the comment section of this posting on Facebook and also YouTube. Or you can simply contact us through our WhatsApp contact at 01129004. So with that being said, again, thank you, Doctor, for being with us in the studio. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
And dear listeners, don't forget to tune in to us next week for more conversation. All this only on IKIM FM, Inspirasi Utama Anda.